This conference will now be recorded.
Seventh biology, we are learning about respiration in organism. This is the sixth chapter in your science textbook. And here, the main contents of this chapter, which we are learning, that is, why do we respire? Then, what is breathing and how do we breathe? What do we breathe out? Breathing in other animals, then breathing underwater, and do plants also respire? So, we are learning about all these topics. Now, in the previous class, we have already told like if you're walking very fast, if you're moving very fast, that makes breathing also in a faster rate. Our movement, body movement is fast means breathing rate also. Breathing rate that also will be fast, right? There will be a faster breathing rate. So why is this? Why it is coming like that? There comes like breathing that is a part of respiration. That's a part of respiration. Which one? Breathing. So breathing is a part of respiration. So we have to know about what is respiration and why our breathing rate is becoming more when we are moving in a faster way. See, we know that all the organisms, they need, all living organism will breathe. In the sense respiration, it's a characteristic feature of a living organism. So we know the cell, which is the smallest unit of life. From here, from the cellular level, the breathing will start. So each cell of an organism that performs so many functions like transport, excretion, nutrition, all this reproduction, all these functions it is performing. So to perform the function, to perform this function, cell need what? Cell need energy, and this energy, the cell need energy to perform all these function. So while even while eating, sleeping, all these we need energy. So from where these energy is coming from? This energy is released during respiration. Energy is released during respiration. See, eating, that is intake of food. So when the energy is getting released, that is during respiration. So in the previous chapter, we have learned intake of food is taking place, then digestion of food in organism, right? Intake is there, digestion is there, then it is forming, after digestion, it is forming the simpler substances. Simpler substances, and all these simpler substances which are in the absorbable form, that will get transported through our circulatory system, or to blood it is getting transported, and it is reaching each and every part of the body, right? So this simpler substances will release energy during respiration. This will release energy. energy release is taking place during respiration. Okay. So all the organisms, all living organisms respire to get energy from food. So respiration, that's a process to get energy from food. Okay. So that's for getting energy from food. And we said while breathing, during breathing which is a part of respiration, during that intake of air is taking place during breathing, right? So this is rich in oxygen, right? And the releasing air or breathing out, that is rich in carbon dioxide, right? Carbon dioxide is more while breathing out that air, right? And this oxygen rich air, when we are taking in this oxygen rich air, that is getting transported to all parts of body, right? This oxygen rich air is getting transported to all part of the body, and even we are saying the cellular level it is reaching, right? To the cellular level it is reaching. So ultimately it is reaching each and every cell, and these cell will respire, and here the oxygen which is present, the oxygen in the air helps in the breaking down of food. Breakdown of food with the help of oxygen, right? So the process of breakdown of food in the cell with the release of energy, that is called as cellular respiration. We have learned what is cellular respiration, right? What is cellular respiration? The breakdown of food in the cell with release of energy is called as cellular respiration, and this cellular respiration takes place in cells of all organisms. Okay, in each and every cell the cellular respiration is taking place. And here the cellular respiration, there are two types. See, in the cell, glucose or the food in the simple form, glucose, this is breaking down into carbon dioxide plus water. This is in presence of oxygen. Oxygen, right? We are intaking that air, that air which are taking inside, or while breathing the oxygen rich air we are taking inside, right? So this is reaching up to cellular level, and this is helping for the breakdown of food. So glucose will break down in presence of that air which is rich in oxygen, and it forms carbon dioxide, water, and for what it is working? For the release of energy. Clear? Here, this kind of respiration is called as aerobic respiration. So aerobic respiration is taking place in presence of oxygen, and that releases energy, and it forms carbon dioxide and water. Okay. At the same time, some organisms are there which can break down the food without using oxygen. Okay. So in the cell, glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide. Okay, here in the absence of oxygen, we need to specify that in the absence of oxygen. So oxygen won't be present. Without using oxygen, it will be breaking down into carbon dioxide plus alcohol plus energy. Here also energy release is there. Carbon dioxide is also forming, but here it is forming alcohol instead of water in the absence of oxygen. So you should know that there are some organism like yeast. Example, yeast we said, those organisms in the absence of oxygen also, in the absence of air, they can do this respiration or they can do this breaking down of food, and they are called as anaerobes. Okay, and they are getting energy through anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. Okay, so here glucose, without the usage of oxygen, it is breaking down into alcohol plus carbon dioxide, and that is releasing energy. Clear? And we said about yeast, which is a single cell organism, and that will do anaerobic respiration. And during anaerobic respiration, it is producing alcohol. So this yeast is used to make wine and beer, where they require anaerobic respiration and alcohol formation. Okay. Next one point, the new topic which we are starting in this class, that is a continuation of the previous topic. That's why the remaining things, all the things whatever we have learned, I gave a summary of that. Now about anaerobic respiration we have learned, right? See, our muscle cells also can respire in an anaerobic way. Okay, here oxygen is going inside and carbon dioxide that is coming out, and here glucose is getting it is breaking down, and here water that is getting released. That's a common process, right? So here our muscle cells can also respire in an anaerobic way, but only for short time. Okay, our muscle cells that also can respire anaerobically. There also anaerobic respiration is possible in our muscles. Our muscle cells can do this anaerobic respiration for short time. Okay, that we should remember, short time. See, if we are running, we are cycling or walking, some more energy requirement is there, or during heavy exercise. This is during exercise. Okay, heavy exercise. One person is doing very heavy exercise. He's walking for many hours, weightlifting he's doing. The demand of energy will be high. So during heavy exercise, energy demand will be more. First point, energy demand is high, or they need, those kind of people need more energy, right? And here, while doing heavy exercise, that breathing, in the same way we are breathing, right? But the breathing rate, we are trying to take the oxygen maximum, because with the help of oxygen only breakdown will take place, right? So here the oxygen supply to produce the energy is limited. Oxygen supply for energy release is limited, right? Then what will happen there? Their anaerobic respiration will start, where in the muscles. Then anaerobic respiration starts in muscles, right? See, we are running, we are running very fast, or we are doing heavy exercise. Okay, so there the demand, we need more energy to continue that or to carry on that exercise. We need more energy. Still, we have so many things. If we are going to a gym, there we are doing with the help of a trainer, we are doing many exercises, but you have to complete everything, right? So there you should not get exhausted. You should not, without energy, if you're sitting means that time will go waste. So what you should do, you should do that heavy exercise and complete. So what our body is demanding that time, you need energy demand, or our body require more energy. See, energy, we should get energy means what we should do, intake of air should be more, which is rich in oxygen, and that will go to the cell. There the breakdown of glucose will take place, and that will release carbon dioxide, water, and energy. That energy body will utilize, right? That's the right way. But here sometimes the oxygen supply for energy or for energy release, that oxygen supply is limited, because if you are doing heavy exercise, the breathing rate we will increase. Still, that is not enough. That oxygen supply is not enough to meet the demand of energy. That's not sufficient for the breaking down of food and to release the amount of energy what is required for the body. Okay, so in that case, anaerobic respiration takes place in the muscle cells to fulfill the demand of energy. So in muscle cells, they will respire in anaerobic way to meet the demand of energy. Okay, so there the requirement is more. So muscle cells will work. They will do the anaerobic respiration because muscle cells are getting heavy work there, right? They need more energy. So that normal oxygen supply for energy release, that with that body or the muscle cells are not able to meet the demand of requirement of energy. So there the muscle cells will start working, or they will start anaerobic respiration to fulfill the demand of energy, right? So what is happening here, glucose where in muscle cells. In muscle cells, this glucose in the absence of oxygen, what is happening here? That is producing lactic acid and energy. Lactic acid plus energy. Here, energy release is taking place, right? So, in our body, during that anaerobic respiration, glucose in the absence of oxygen, glucose will break down and that will form lactic acid plus energy. Okay, this is what happening during exercise. Some muscles may respire anaerobic respiration will take place, and as a result of that anaerobic respiration, lactic acid will get produced and energy will get released. That is in the absence of oxygen during heavy exercise. Okay, so that anaerobic respiration will taking place during the heavy exercise. Okay, and sometimes during such heavy exercise or while walking for long time, or while running, in such time and all, you may get muscle cramps, right? Sometimes after heavy exercise, there's a chance of muscle cramps. Muscle cramps. This is very important. Why you are getting muscle cramps? Okay, after heavy exercise. See, after heavy exercise, muscle cramps will occur when muscle cells respire anaerobically. Muscle cramps, these are due to muscle cell muscle cells anaerobic respiration, right? If the muscle cells are not able to meet the demand of energy, muscle cells will start anaerobic respiration, and that will break down the glucose in the absence of oxygen to form lactic acid, and that releases energy, right? So the partial breakdown of glucose, here glucose is doing the partial breakdown. Partial breakdown of glucose. Here you can see the partial breakdown of glucose that produces lactic acid, right? Partial breakdown of glucose produces lactic acid. So accumulation of this lactic acid causes muscle cramps. Accumulation, accumulation of lactic acid, this causes muscle cramps. Okay, that is the reason for that muscle cramp. See, what is the reason? When you're doing heavy exercise, that body needs or body demands high energy, right? The body requires more energy compared to the normal time, right? So, to meet that energy demand, muscle cells will start respiring anaerobically, and there, as a partial digestion, in the absence of oxygen, glucose will form lactic acid plus energy. This energy is getting released, and glucose is getting digested partially, or the partial respiration or partial breaking down of glucose is taking place, which forms the lactic acid. Lactic acid is a product of partial breakdown of glucose, right? And this lactic acid will accumulate in the muscles, and that causes muscle cramps, right? And now muscle cramps came after heavy exercise. How you will get a relief from this muscle cramp? How to get relief from this kind of muscle cramps? How to get relief from this kind of muscle cramps? See, we said glucose, partial digestion in absence of oxygen, right? It will form lactic acid plus energy. The energy is getting released, but as a result of this partial digestion, lactic acid is forming. So this accumulation of lactic acid that forms muscle cramps. So if we want to get a relief from this muscle cramps, what we need to do? We need to take a hot water bath or a massage to avoid, not to avoid, to relieve, to get relief, to get relief from muscle cramp. What we need to do? Need to do hot water bath or massage. Why this hot water bath or massage that gives a relief? Can you just imagine what is the reason for that relief? See, hot water bath or massage that improves blood circulation. Hot water bath or massage. Any one of this if you are doing, or if you are doing both, blood circulation increases. Blood circulation increases. So if the blood circulation improves or increases, the supply of oxygen to these muscles increases. Blood circulation increasing means supply of oxygen to muscles increases. Right, oxygen supply is increasing. So increase in the supply of oxygen, that will result in the complete breakdown of lactic acid into carbon dioxide and water. See, here oxygen supply is increasing to the muscle. So oxygen is reaching there. Oxygen, when it is reaching there, that will help for the complete breakdown. Complete breakdown of lactic acid to carbon dioxide plus water. Right, there the process is getting over. Here the incomplete breakdown, that forms the lactic acid. But when the oxygen supply, when we are taking a hot water bath or massage, blood circulation increases. As a result of that increased blood circulation, oxygen supply also increases. When the oxygen is reaching in the muscle cells, complete breakdown of this lactic acid will happen there, and that will produce carbon dioxide and water. Okay, that's why if you are giving a massage or hot water bath, we are getting relief from the muscle cramps. Clear? So here, why we are getting, what is anaerobic respiration we are learning, and why we are getting muscle cramps when we are doing heavy exercise, and how to get relief from the muscle cramps, and what is happening there while taking a hot water bath or a massage to a person who is having muscle cramps, how it is getting, how they are getting a relief from that pain, and what are all methods we can suggest for a person with muscle cramps. And if we are giving such hot water bath or massage, what is happening there? Blood circulation increases, supply of oxygen increases, and that makes the complete breakdown of lactic acid to carbon dioxide and water. There the breaking down of this glucose is becoming complete. So the accumulation of this lactic acid, that makes the partial breakdown of glucose produces lactic acid, and the accumulation of lactic acid causes muscle cramps. So there the accumulated lactic acid should get breakdown into completely into carbon dioxide and water. Okay, that's why we need to give a hot water bath or massage. Clear? So that's the reason why we need to respire. These are the reasons for the respiration. Why we need to respire. Now you are getting the complete answer why we need to respire. These are all the needs for respiration. Clear? And we said breathing, which is a part of respiration. Okay. See, breathing, which is a part of respiration. Right? Just close your nose and mouth tightly. What you will feel after some time? If you're closing nose and mouth, what will happen? For some time you can manage, right? So after some time, what you will do, you will not be able to, after some time, you will feel uncomfortable, right? Why? You will not be able to keep mouth and noses, both of them close together, right? So how long you can hold your breath? So holding breath for long time is difficult, right? For few seconds or few minutes we can hold our breath, right? But holding for long time it's impossible. So you cannot survive if you're holding like that. After some time you will come to know that you cannot survive for long without breathing. Okay, you can't survive for long time without breathing, right? So what do you mean by breathing? Breathing means taking in air which is rich in oxygen and giving out the air which is rich in carbon dioxide with the help of respiratory organs. Breathing means taking in oxygen rich air and giving out carbon dioxide rich air, carbon dioxide rich air out. And this all these are done with the help of respiratory organs. Okay, with the support of respiratory organs. So taking in the air which is rich in oxygen into the body, taking in oxygen rich air, that is called as inhalation. Inhalation, we are inhaling that air which is rich in oxygen and giving out the air which is rich in carbon dioxide. Giving out air with carbon dioxide, CO2, carbon dioxide. That is called as exhalation. So inhaling and exhaling, inhaling is oxygen rich air. So inhaling the oxygen rich air and exhaling the carbon dioxide rich air. See why intake of the air with oxygen, that is helping for breaking down of the glucose into carbon dioxide, water and energy. That energy is getting utilized by our body. But there water is forming, carbon dioxide is forming. So that produced carbon dioxide is coming out through that exhalation or exhaling air, which is rich in carbon dioxide. We are saying which carbon dioxide? The carbon dioxide produced during the respiration. That is exhaling, right? So this is a continuous process which goes throughout the life of the organism. Okay, so here we can say inhaling and exhaling. This is continuous, continuous process throughout the life of an organism, right? So all the time, that means throughout the life, all the time, an organism will do respiration, inhaling and exhaling. It's a continuous process throughout the life of an organism. Okay, and here number of times a person breathing in a minute. Number of how many times a number of times a person breathes in a minute. The number of times a person breathes in a minute, that is called as breathing rate. Breathing rate. The number of breathing per minute, that is called as breathing rate. Okay, so during breathing, inhalation and exhalation takes place alternatively. Breathing time, inhalation, inhaling and exhaling, exhalation. This is alternatively happening. Okay, so this is alternate. And breath means one inhalation plus one exhalation. That is one breath. One breath means one inhalation and one exhalation. That is one breath. We need to take air inside and we need to exhale that air. It should come out. Right? That is called as one breath. Taking in and then exhaling. So a breath means one inhalation plus one exhalation. That is called as one breath. So how can you find out the breathing rate? How you will find out the breathing rate? Per minute, how many times you are breathing, that is called as breathing rate. See, here you can do, there is one activity in your book that mentions like while breathing, you need to find out the breathing rate. That means breath per minute. So what is a breath? A breath means one inhalation, one exhalation. One inhalation plus one exhalation, that is counted as one breath. So how many times you are breathing per minute? That shows your breathing rate, right? So breathe in and out in a normal way and find out how many times you can breathe in and breathe out in a minute. So that makes the breathing rate. So here, how many times you inhaled, that you can make out, and how many times you exhaled, that also you need to count. Then you can make out the breathing rate, that means number of breaths per minute. Then after a slide walking or a slide running, you can record your breathing rate. When you are completing, as soon as you are completing the running or a walking, what will be the breathing rate? And after taking some rest, what is the breathing rate? Both you need to do. Okay, so you can make all these findings in a table format. So from that, you can realize that whenever a person needs extra energy, he or she should breathe in a faster way. Okay, so what you're doing in that activity actually, first in normal condition, you are going to check the breathing rate under different conditions. First, in first column, you can give name of person. You can take 2-3 persons, A, B, C, like that. You can make 3 persons. Then breathing rate you are going to check. That you are checking. First, under normal condition, the breathing rate. That means breathing rate, first you need to find out inhaling, number of inhaling and number of exhaling. Then from that you can find out the normal breathing rate. That means number of breath per minute, right? Then after walking, after a brisk walk for 10 minutes, for 10 minutes, if you're walking, what will be the breathing rate of A, B, and C? Okay. Then after running, this is just a simple walk. So after running, that means you need little more energy, right? So running for 100 meter, what will be the breathing rate of A, B, and C? So here also the breathing rate of three people will come. Then the same people, if they are taking rest for some time, and after that if they're checking the breathing rate, what will be the breathing rate of A, B, and C? Like this you have to make a column. So from this, after checking all these things, you will come to know that whenever a person need extra energy, here see, normal breathing rate you can check. After a brisk walking, the breathing rate will be, or the number of breath per minute will be more, because they need more energy. More oxygen intake only will give more energy release, right? And after running, the breathing rate will be higher, again it will become high, or it will become more, breathing rate will be more. Then that person is taking rest for some time, and it's that rest will give normal, again they will come back to the normal breathing rate. So that's how this shows that when a person need more energy, or if you're doing, when a person is doing some exercise, or when they need extra energy, that person should do, or they should breathe in a faster way, and as a result of that faster, more energy requirement is there, means breathing rate, that will be more, right? That means more oxygen, that helps for release of energy, that also should be more. Okay, so that supplies more energy to our cell, so that speed up the breaking down of oxygen supply to the cell, that should be more. And if more oxygen supply is there, the breaking down of the food and more energy release will happen. So this is explaining that why do we feel hungry after a physical activity. After physical activity we will feel more hungry, because all the food or the glucose which is there in our body, that is utilized, more of higher breathing rate, so more oxygen supply, so their energy demand is more. So to make it out, breathing rate is more oxygen supply is there, so breakdown of that glucose will be more, energy release will be more, energy utilization will be more. Okay, so that glucose breakdown, that will get over the food, already digested food which is in the absorbable format or in the glucose form, that and all will get over after doing heavy exercise. So we need, again we will feel hungry, because we need to take food, then it should get digested, that should be in the simple form. Again, to meet the energy demand, we should intake the food. That's why we are feeling hungry after doing a heavy physical activity. Okay, see, during different activities, one more activity they have mentioned, which is during different activities, the variation in the breathing rate. You need to check the variation in breathing rate. See, heavy activity means there will be high breathing rate, and very simple activity means there won't be much energy demand, so breathing rate will be less or normal. See here, the rate of breathing will be the slowest where there is less energy requirement. Less energy requirement, their low breathing rate. High energy demand, there you can see high breathing rate. Okay, so you can see number of activities. Sleeping is there, washing, then reading, then climbing on something, walking, playing. You can make a list of that and you can check out the breathing rate. There you can see variation in the breathing rate due to different activities. So there, increasing the demand, you can see an increase in the demand for the energy. There you can see higher breathing rate. Okay, so this is how you can complete these activities. One activity is for checking the variation in the breathing rate during different activities, and another activity that is showing the changes in the breathing rate under different conditions. Okay, so under different conditions how the breathing rate will be, and under different activities, if a person is doing various activities which is carried out by a person during a normal day, there you can observe different breathing rate. So breathing rate variation you can observe in that. Okay, so this is what breathing intake and inhaling and exhaling, that is called as one breath. Okay, so the breathing rate means breath per minute, that gives the breathing rate. So a breath means one inhalation plus one exhalation, that will give, if you are counting that per minute how many you are doing, breath per minute if you are checking, that gives you breathing rate. Okay, so that's all about the breathing, and next you need to learn how do we breathe, the process of breathing. That is a very big process. And here now you are coming to know that here the breathing that releases which is a part of respiration, that is helping for the release of energy. And in today's class we have learned why muscle cramps are coming during heavy exercise, what is breathing, you read what is inhalation, what is exhalation, what is breathing rate, and during various activities how the breathing rate is varying during slow, less energy requirement, low breathing rate, high energy requirement, high breathing rate, you can see. Then another topic which we have learned, that is why we are respiring and what is cellular respiration. Cellular respiration, where it is taking place in the cells of all organism, and what is aerobic respiration, what is anaerobic respiration, the equation for aerobic respiration, the equation for anaerobic respiration, what is aerobes, what is anaerobes, and what is a product of aerobic respiration, what is a product of anaerobic respiration. In both energy is getting released. And our muscles, when our muscles are doing the anaerobic respiration, and is it possible for a long time, and if not possible, why? Okay, that is just to solve the temporary deficiency of oxygen. And while doing heavy exercise, what is happening there, like the supply of oxygen, that will be less, because we can't, while breathing rate will be more while doing heavy exercise, but that is not demanding the that is not fulfilling the demand of energy. So there the anaerobic respiration is taking place, and glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen in lactic acid and energy. That is a partial breakdown of glucose, and that's how this lactic acid will get accumulated in the muscles, which will give the muscle cramps after heavy exercise. And to overcome that, what we need to do, we need to do this massage or hot water bath, which is giving a relief from these cramps. And why it is happening? Because hot water bath or a massage that improves blood circulation, so supply of oxygen will be more, that will increase, and increase in the supply of oxygen result in the complete breakdown, that the partial breakdown happened, right? So the lactic acid produced, the lactic acid again that will get converted into carbon dioxide and water, which gives a relief from muscle cramps. Clear? So this is what we have learned in today's class, and next class we'll be learning about breathing. See, we have learned how long you can hold breath. Okay, so holding breath, how long you can do this breath holding, and is it possible for a long time? Why it's not possible for long time? Okay, these are the questions, and next class we'll be learning about breathing process. The whole process we will learn with the help of diagram. That is also very important, so that we will see in the next class. Thank you.